This team is a dark horse Super Bowl contender.
The ultimate goal is winning a Super Bowl, and I want to lead these guys. We're not done yet. The job's not finished.
As long as Lamar Jackson is the quarterback of that team, it's always Super Bowl or bust.
Baltimore is the real deal. MVP quarterback and a defense that has the potential to win it all.
Joe Burrow back on the field, his first on-field activity since November when he tore multiple ligaments in his left knee.
Joe Burrow is going to be the next big guy in the NFL.
This brother, Najee Harris, can ball. Steelers will rebound. Big Ben Roethlisberger will rebound. And the Steelers are taking the AFC North.
Continuing our Camp Take series today, taking a look at the AFC North, looking at the odds from Caesars Sportsbook. Baltimore is a slight favorite over the Browns and the defending division champion Steelers are third. We now have Dan Orlovsky joining us. And Dan, I know there's a lot going on. You were doing your makeup in the car. There was a story there. But you said you wanted to say something. What's going on?
Yeah, so this is a great story. I'm on my way. I live in Connecticut, so I'm on my way up. And they're like, yo, you got to be. I'm not supposed to be here till like noon Sports Center. Like, we need your first take for like 11:10. I'm like, fine. So I had to drop my sons off at lax practice. So I'm on the way up, and I'm like, dude, this is going to be close. I'm going to make it by 11:10. So I'm in my rearview mirror at a red light, like putting on makeup. I got some sunburn and whatnot. Putting on makeup, and all of a sudden I look to my left, and there's like a group of 4 high school girls staring at me as this dude is putting on makeup. And I'm just looking at him like, this is embarrassing. And I put on makeup. And then my second thing is, just for clarifications, guys, am I Max and Dom? Are you Stephen A today? Is that how we're doing this? Or?
No. I'm Max and Stephen A.
You're gonna do both of them.
He's everybody.
Yeah,
you gotta be analytical and hemispherical and grammatical and euphorical.
You're making up words now. Okay,
just big words
you can
by
put
Stephen
cool on
A.
the end.
So,
those aren't big words. Those are invented words.
All right, let's get back to the conversation at hand. As I said, Baltimore is a slight favorite over the Browns, and the defending division Steelers are third. Who is your favorite to win the AFC North, Dan?
The favorite will be the Baltimore Ravens. I believe the Cleveland Browns will win that division. I think if you just look at the roster, talent-wise, that roster is absolutely loaded. And the biggest reason why is going to be they're taking their weakness of last year, which is their secondary, making it to a strength. I think the most important person on the football team is Odell Beckham Jr. If Odell can, 1, come back and be healthy, and 2, then seamlessly fit into that offense, this offense is going to be as good as the Kansas City Chiefs, who should have the best offense in football. And now that's not an easy transition for him to kind of seamlessly fit in. How great this offense was, or as great as it was last year, the one thing that it was lacking was the ability to have big plays in the pass game. The 25-yard and more chunks, and Dom knows this. If you get like 3 of those a game, those 25-yard passes or more, you're going to win a lot of football games because of what it does to flip a field and points and whatnot. They were like 23rd in the NFL last year in those 25-yard or more passes. That was tied for New England. Now, everyone thinks New England last year, that pass game was bad. And so that's the big thing that Odell could have as an impact for this football team. But the secondary was such a weakness last year for Cleveland. And I know there's questions like Greg Newsome from Northwestern, their first-round pick. He's got to step in and play really well. Greedy Williams has got to stay healthy or get healthy. Denzel Ward's got to stay healthy. John Johnson, their free agent from the Rams, has got to come over and get everybody together. Troy Hill, their nickelback. Grant Delpit, their pick in I think the second or third round from last year's, got to get healthy. But if those guys are healthy and get together with cohesion, that defense in Cleveland is going to match that offense in Cleveland, and that becomes one of the best teams in the league. And I believe that's going to happen. That's why I think the Browns win that division.
There's so many ifs. So you said a lot there, and I appreciate that you laid all of that stuff out there because you're right. Their problem was big threats in the passing game. And you don't have to hit 3 a game, but if you hit a few every other week, like that makes your whole life a lot easier because the defense is then concerned about that. And you're right about all those things. If Odell can come in and be that, this offense gets a lot better. I'm going to stop short of saying that they're going to be the Chiefs because there's one major difference at the quarterback position. You said that they're going to be as good as the Chiefs. Let's chill out on that foolishness, but they're going to be very good. But the problem is why I'm going to stick with the Ravens winning is because there aren't as many ifs. The only if is like, if they can be the same team or close to the same team that they have been since Lamar Jackson took over midway through the season for Joe Flacco a few years ago. Like, if they can come back and be close to what they've been last year and the year before, then I will stick with them. We don't need people to step up on their defense. We don't need to figure out if their secondary can live up to the hype, because their secondary has been living up to the hype. So I'm with you. If the Browns secondary can play to their potential, they can win this division. But I don't have to say if about the Ravens. I don't have to say if about the Ravens at quarterback. I don't have to say if about the Ravens on their defense. I don't have to say if about that running attack. Like, the Ravens are the team in that division until proven otherwise, as far as I'm concerned. Go ahead, Dan.
No. There's definitely ifs about the Baltimore Ravens. Like, if Rashad Bateman steps in and plays like a true one in the pass game, like Justin Jefferson did with Minnesota, like that's the real thing. Like, they need him to come be the guy.
Can we take it one at a time? One at a time. You're right. If the question is, are they going to knock off the Chiefs? Not if the question is, can they win that division? Because they won the division last year without Rashad Bateman. Okay, next point.
But that's also because Cleveland was played multiple games without coaches, like because of COVID. Like, and they're only, and again, that secondary is significantly better this year. So to win the division, Bateman's going to have to be a true number one. Number two, there's two questions on their offensive line. Ronnie Stanley's coming back, their left tackle, from significant knee injury. If he's healthy, and if they replace somebody at guard, like Ben Cleveland, they drafted out of Georgia, he's got to go step up. And then the third thing, because I'll give you two of them at a time down, like, they do got to find some guys to replace in the pass rush game. Like, is it going to be Derek Wolfe? Is it going to be Justin Houston, who they recently signed? Like, there are some, if those guys perform well, that defense will play what it's accustomed to.
I view those ifs as smaller, and the pass rushers isn't much of a problem because they aren't a sit back and pass rush team. They're a blitz team, again, because they have a secondary that they can rely on that is incredibly deep. So I'm not as concerned about the pass rushers because they didn't generate a 4-man rush. Like, they generate 6, 7, 8-man rushes is how they generate pressure. So, like, as long as they have able-bodied people that can understand the rules of their blitz packages, then they're going to be all right as far as rushing the passer, as long as the cornerbacks can stand up. And that's to the original point you made about Odell Beckham. If Odell Beckham is someone who they can't leave Marlon Humphreys on for the course of the game in man coverage, which is what they did for much of the time when they played him, if Odell and Baker grow to a point together, and frankly, it's more on Baker than it is on Odell, if they grow to a point together where Humphreys cannot lock up Odell for the course of an entire game, then we're talking about something. But until then, I'm not worried about that defense, and I'm certainly not worried about the offense because, well, as long as Lamar Jackson is healthy and he bounces back from this bout of COVID the same way he bounced back from the first one.
I'll make one point on each quarterback that'll go a long way to determining who wins the division. If Baker Mayfield can be as good when the run game isn't as impactful play action-wise, when he has to drop back as he is in the play action game, in comparison to if Lamar can really start to threaten people down the field and outside with the football in comparison to just down the middle of the field, whoever does that better obviously has a huge chance and opportunity to win the division.
A lot of ifs being thrown around there. What do they say? If was a fifth, we'd all be drunk. I feel like if somebody was playing a drip. Yeah, it is. It is 11 a.m. All right. Thanks so much, Dan. Your makeup looks really good. Tomorrow, Camp Takes rolls on as we preview the AFC East. And if the Patriots are primed for a bounce-back season,